As you come in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit the like button. Yeah, I know I haven't been live for a while, and I haven't spoken on Pittsburgh Steelers football in quite some time. But, yeah, it is time. It is definitely that time. And listen, I am making a plea to the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, to Kevin Colbert, to Coach Mike Tomlin, to Dan Rooney. We must get Deshaun Watson now. I don't want to hear we're getting Kenny Pickett because he played for Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's all fine and dandy with small hands. You know what that means. I don't want to hear we're getting Corals, that kid from, I forgot what college he's in. I don't even care. I don't want any of these college kids where we got to wait. Listen, we're either getting Deshaun Watson, because it doesn't look like we're getting Malik Willis. I mean, I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. He'll probably end up going to Seattle, especially after that big trade, or Detroit. He'll go to one of those teams. And plus, Malik Willis is one of those guys. He's got all the physical tools, I get it, but it's going to take him time to develop. And let's face it, if you're Mike Tomlin, you don't have that much time. Because half the Steeler fans, even if you win, want you fired anyway. And then having Brian Flores become an assistant, your replacement might be right behind you. Because a lot of Steelers fans just don't like Mike Tomlin for whatever reason. And we've already been through he won with Bill Cowher's guys. Well, that first of all, that's BS. He elevated their play. But that's another story. We're not going to even bother and go into that. But the fact of the matter is, the Steelers need Deshaun Watson. Big Ben was a shell of himself the last couple of years. Let's face it. And running, even though I don't want Matt Canada here, if we want to be fair, Ben Roethlisberger was not the proper guy to run his system, because you have to have a mobile quarterback to run that style of offense that he has. And there is nobody that is more athletic than Deshaun Watson. Now, once his legal issues have been cleared up, which they were on Friday, let's forget the fact, listen, we need a quarterback. The Steelers need a quarterback in the worst way. I don't want to hear, we're going to start off with Mason Rudolph. If Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, then Mike Tomlin might as well quit. I mean, could he eke out 8 to 9 wins with that clown? Maybe. We're not even sniffing the Super Bowl, let alone the playoffs. I don't want Mason Rudolph anywhere near the room, let alone be a starter. Okay? Deshaun Watson is only 26 years old. Obviously, he took no hits last year. He didn't play a down. Now, let's face it. He should be suing the NFL and the Houston Texans. And we all knew that this was a witch hunt. I said so much when they did this crap. I knew Deshaun Watson was getting the short end of the stick. I'm going to keep it PG here, ladies and gentlemen. But if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, you back up the truck. You do whatever it takes to bring Deshaun Watson to Pittsburgh. You have allegedly a championship-ready defense, even though I couldn't tell in the playoffs, but okay. And a lot of guys will be returning from injury. I understand that we have some holes to plug especially in the offensive line. But we can address that in the draft. We can address that in free agency. More free agency than the draft. Because there are a couple of guys out there, especially the center from Tampa Bay. He's going to be available, so we need to get that guy ASAP. But we have guys in place. Now, if we have to trade a Chase Claypool, I'll pack his bags wholeheartedly for him. I'm sick of him anyway. He's an underachiever at best. I'm sick of Claypool. And I actually like the kid, but I don't know if we're going to get the best out of him as it is. And if it takes a guy like that, if it takes a Deontay Johnson to get him, well, I'll pack Deontay Johnson's bags for him. Because one thing the Steelers can do is draft receivers. And they normally get their receivers in the middle rounds. And they do a very good job. I know Claypool was a second rounder, but Deontay Johnson was a sixth rounder. Antonio Brown, sixth round. Martavis Bryant, third round. Listen, the Steelers know how to draft quality wide receivers. And we can get a pretty decent wide receiver for Deshaun Watson. Let's say we don't have to trade a Deontay Johnson. Now, is he a true number one receiver? I'll say he's sort of a 1B. He's more of a number two. But when you have Deshaun Watson and when you have the running game, and let's face it, Najee Harris will be much easier to feature with a better offensive line. And this offensive line should be much better than last year's, which was an absolute joke due to personnel, not just injuries, but let's face it, the personnel on the offensive line was weak to begin with. They're going to have to do something with Kendrick Green. They're going to have to slide him over to guard. He cannot be the center of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022. He cannot. I don't care who's under center. But the Steelers need to back up the truck and get this guy. You look at that division. Look at that AFC North. And you tell me. Now, obviously, Cleveland has not made a decision as of yet when it comes to Baker Mayfield. But you have, obviously, Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson. We cannot come up short again. Because let's face it, you can make a case the Steelers had the worst quarterback even when we had Big Ben last year. Because let's face it, Big Ben was at the very end of his career. He was not accurate with the deep ball anymore. He couldn't move anymore. He was a sitting target. Let's face it. The Steelers have not had an athlete like Deshaun Watson since a Cordell Stewart. You know, as great as Big Ben's career was for the Steelers, he was never considered the best quarterback in the league. You know, for all of the belly aching that Terry Bradshaw gets, and rightfully so, and if you look at his numbers, which are, a lot of people say, well, listen, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. Listen, when Terry Bradshaw played quarterback, the quarterback position was a lot different. I mean, they mainly threw it on third down. For him to, throwing 28 touchdowns in a season, he actually led the league in touchdowns that season. That was 1978. He was the MVP that season. Big Ben has never been looked at as an MVP. Never. And did he have a great career for the Steelers? Yes. When you have a guy like Deshaun Watson, he can be the MVP in any given season. Now you have the Steelers in a class at quarterback with the Pat Mahomes, with the Lamar Jacksons. In fact, to me, it's not even close. Deshaun Watson is eons better. And I like Lamar Jackson, don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson is a wonderful quarterback. Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback. Listen, all things being equal, Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. And yeah, I'm including Patrick Mahomes. Give Deshaun Watson his weapons, and you tell me who's the better quarterback. I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't try and give me. I'm not even going to mention the backup from Buffalo who used to start in Chicago. He better not even come close to the locker room in Pittsburgh. Back up the truck. Get Deshaun Watson. Now, if you tell me the Steelers are going to trade up and get Malik Willis, I get it. But again, I don't think he's NFL ready right now. They say Pickett is much more NFL ready. If you have a team that needs to win right now, Pickett's your guy. I don't want to say settle for that, but that is settling. To me, it's Deshaun Watson or bust. And I can guarantee you, Deshaun Watson will be much better treated here in Pittsburgh. Well, I don't live in Pittsburgh, but by the fan base than he ever was in Houston. Excuse me. Let's face it, the Houston Texans don't know how to treat their players. They've shown that. Every great player that they've ever had, whether it's Andre Johnson, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, name whoever you want, Arian Foster, every great player that franchise has ever had has ended up on another team. Listen, the Steelers, for the most part, are loyal to a fault to a player. They'd rather hang on to the player too long than just cut bait with him. Unless you've done like totally egregious stuff like Antonio Brown. He had to go. I mean, Mike Tomlin has put up with more BS than any other great coach in the NFL. And he has covered up so many shortcomings of the Steelers. And look, whenever they leave the Steelers, they're never the same player. Never. But Deshaun Watson, you have a chance to be a hero to this franchise. And this franchise, and I don't want to hear, oh, the Steelers shouldn't go after him. I mean, look at the legal issue, please. Like Big Ben didn't have issues? Really? Man, we had Michael Vick, for crying out loud. The atomic dog. So I don't want to hear we don't need a quarterback with past it. First of all, those weren't really issues. Those were a bunch of gold diggers trying to get rich and get paid. And now all that is behind them. And it's time for the Steelers to make the move that's desperately needed and bring Deshaun Watson to Pittsburgh so we can get that 7-3. We know the arm talent. We know his leadership. All he needs is the right coaching and a strong offensive line. He doesn't have to carry this all by himself. Najee Harris should have a much better year with a much better offensive line. Now we can truly see how Matt Canada's offense, he has no more excuse after this season. And I wanted Matt Canada gone myself. But now, listen, you get it to Deshaun Watson, and no more excuses either for Mike Tomlin as well. This is a win. Listen, every year is a win now year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all there is to it. There is no rebuilding. Our defense is ready. Now we have to get our offensive line ready. This is a copycat league. The Rams went all in. You see how it happened. If you got to give up 2 number 1 picks for Deshaun Watson, I don't want to hear he's not worth it. If anybody is worth 2 number 1s, it's Deshaun Watson. If you have to back up the truck, you do it. So, Kevin Colbert, before you leave and ride off into the sunset, you get off your keister and get Deshaun Watson into a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. If you don't do that, you shouldn't get to draft the next quarterback, because you will have let the next quarterback get away. And I better not see Mason Rudolph under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I better not see it. Not with all that money under the cap that the Steelers are. They need to go all in on a championship. Not now, but right now. That's all I really have to say about it. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit the like button. UncleClaude signing out. Hey, J Truth. Now you're catching me now when I'm on the way out. But I will be back later on because I want to do a Biggie Smalls tribute. It's good to see you. It's been a while. But once again, Mason Rudolph, no way. It's Deshaun Watson or nobody. Please like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jay Truth. Thank you, Maurice Carlisle. And thanks to everyone who has joined. UncleClaude signing out. Take care. Stay safe. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it's Deshaun Watson or bust. And that's how we have to treat it. And all Steelers fans unite. Text, write, do whatever you have to do to GM Kevin Colbert. Take care, everyone.